Call meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Council members White,
Here.
Howell,
Here.
Kraft,
Here.
Bryan,
Here.
Lawson. Here. Richardson.
Here.
McCallum.
Here. Here.
Mayor Larkey.
Here. We have a quorum. Budget work session. You're up.
Okay.
Capital projects.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm proud to present the FY25 capital improvement requests. Again, these are just the requests that have been submitted by the department heads. These do not include any rollovers from FY24 yet. So we will begin. First up is General Fund. Senior Center is requesting a kitchen remodel. The cost is $14,000, and they plan to update kitchen cabinets and countertops. And if you guys have any questions in the middle of any of this, just stop me. Otherwise, I'm just going to roll right through. City Hall. We need a new HVAC unit in City Hall. Last year, I think there's 2 of them. They went out, so we need to replace them before summer is upon us. The cost of that is going to be about $30,000. The annex needs roof repairs, and I think we can all tell it needs some sewer repairs. Cost is $10,000 and $30,000 for both of those. The jail needs some building improvements, cost of $80,000. They plan to repair glass, cell doors, and renovate some concrete slabs.
Can I interrupt?
Yes.
If you haven't been to the jail, and I'm assuming most of you haven't,
I have.
you might want to take a tour of that at some point. It's there are some definite real capital needs at our jail if we're going to keep operating it as a functional jail. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Not that I'm advocating for this over any other project. I just want you to know there was some real need
We
at
want
jail.
it to be a nice place to go, though.
Well, we
Well,
want to
we
be
want
able
it to be secure.
we want to be able to
Sure,
keep
yes.
people in there.
Let's see, Joe, do we get any shared cost with that? Because we house prisoners from all around the county?
Well, we had stopped housing most places because of our issues with our facility, other than our own, and because we don't want the liability for housing someone else's if something were to happen. So
Okay.
when we do house, yes, we do get some money for that, but we have not been doing that as much lately.
Okay, up next, we've got the court. They are requesting some metal detectors for a cost of $7,800. They need these to provide additional security for judicial and law enforcement personnel. IT believes that we need new AV equipment here in council chambers, upgrades for HDMI matrix, camera feeds, touchscreen, and microphones. We also need access control door upgrades at City Hall and Annex. Right now, we have the badges to get in and out of the outside doors, but we have keypads, as you guys know, to get in and out of the interior doors. So we want to upgrade that to a badging system in both buildings. Community Development, UDC 2024 update. Community Development is requesting that at a cost of $100,000. Now we move on to fire. Yes.
Say that a little bit more,
Uh-huh.
the community development, a little bit more.
Yep, I'm going to let Matt speak to that since he's here.
So this would follow on the adoption of the comprehensive plan. So the comprehensive plan is just the overall future land use map and goals and objectives for the city. The UDC is the actual zoning code that would need to be updated to implement many of the items that will come out of the comprehensive plan. We're requesting $100,000. Typically, that's more $125,000 to $150,000 for the consultants, but we believe that we can do a number of those code updates in-house to help save some costs there.
Okay, moving on in general fund, we've put the fire all together. And if anyone has any questions about this, I am not the SME and the fire equipment. We've got our fire chief here, so if anybody has any questions, we can direct those towards John. But we'll start out with the station alerting system at a cost of $345,000. The system they have right now is 15 years old. Does anybody have any questions about that for John? No? Okay, we'll move on. Ambulance remount, a cost of $280,000. They're going to update the chassis, better equipment, and create low maintenance costs with that upgrade.
Just
I-
one?
Yeah, we expect there's a new one coming in February that we'd ordered 2 years ago. There's already a remount on order that won't come until sometime next year, and then this is another one that will come about a year and a half after we order it.
Eventually, we'll have 3.
When we get the new one in February, we'll have a total of 5. Moving towards that target of running 4 of them at a time, as much as we can.
Okay, and then we'll move on to the GMC 2500 truck with accessories. The cost of that is $160. We need to replace the current fire chief and training vehicles due to the age of the vehicles. We've got facility improvements at the fire station, a cost of $131,400. This includes both stations' HVAC, 3 refrigerators, painting, removing carpet, and replacing other flooring. Radio equipment at a cost of $93,000. This will include 6 new radios for vehicles. Bless you.
Excuse me.
Spare bottle and mask at a cost of $45,000, and that'll add to their current stock. Stryker Power Pro stretcher at a cost of $40,000. We need to replace one that's due to be replaced. And then continuing with fire, we've got a Kubota side-by-side at a cost of $32,000. They'll be using this as a snowplow, portable pumping kit, and using it to access remote areas. Physical agility equipment at a cost of $32,000. They're going to use this to create consistency in testing and training, and you can see some of the photos that we've got up there. The photo in the middle is for that. Training props at a cost of $18,000. They've got damaged items, and they're going to be replacing those with new ones.
All right, a couple of quick questions. The side-by-side, how are we getting that places if we're going to use it for remote access? Do we have a trailer? We got something planned for that?
We already have a trailer that it'll fit in.
Okay. And then the training props, is that to maybe upgrade some of those handmade ones that I saw recently?
So yeah, well, we'll still keep that. It's another training prop that's similar to that. So we'll have a door at each station, and then the door's not on here, but then there's some upgraded mannequins too because one we have is falling apart.
Okay, gotcha.
And for clarification on the physical agility, especially for folks that were here last year, because you did approve last year and we upgraded both of our workout rooms. But what we've had is we blame COVID for everything, but COVID's not just the problem, but we use a standardized test when we hire people called the CPAT. And there's only 2 places in the city that give it, and so sometimes when we're doing hiring processes, folks that are struggling to get those can't get them very quickly. And so this is a very similar test, and if we would have it, we'd have our folks trained, we could certify people ourselves in this test. So not only would it fill a need for us, we'd also use it for our, we'll start using it as an internal test for our folks as well, an ongoing test, but it'd also be an asset to some of the other fire departments in the county that have the same struggles getting those standardized tests as we do.
And John, how much are those tests when we send people out?
Well, we typically don't pay for them ourselves, but they're about $185.
Okay. Any other questions for fire? Okay, we'll move on to police. The first thing on the list is police interceptor vehicles. Cost of $91,000. It'll replace current vehicles, including all attachments, lights, seating, computer, sirens, and radio. They need to fix the. Yes.
How many is that? Just one?
That is for 2. They need to fix the front and back parking lot and reseal it and update the striping on it. There's I'm sure a lot of you have driven back there lately. There's a lot of potholes. You really can't see the paint anymore back there either. So we're going to be upgrading that at a cost of $75,000. WatchGuard M500 in-car video systems at a cost of $56,000. This will replace car video systems. The current system is 15 years old. It's out of warranty, and it lacks video quality and advanced features that they're looking for. Motorola portable radios at a cost of $45,000. They'll replace current radios, and they're no longer being supported by the current provider.
How many?
That one,
Probably only expensive as they are.
I will find out for you. I do have that number, I just don't have it on here, I apologize. Next is building cameras and upgrades at a cost of $30,000. This will be for the jail and the interview room. Laptop computers at a cost of $30,000, and I will get that number for you as well, Councilmember White. They're needed for the patrol cars, animal control, and the Bearcat rescue. Then we've got desktop computers, and I will get that number for you as well. Cost of $18,000. The current computers are outside warranty. They're 5 years old, and they do create a security risk, so we need to upgrade those. Patrol bicycles, a cost of $15,000. They're just going to replace the current ones. Suppressors for rifles at a cost of $10,560. They use those to reduce hearing loss in the field, and it enables them to communicate more clearly. Thermal printers for patrol cars. It allows them to print in the patrol cars at a cost of $10,10. Criminal Investigations Division vehicles with locking storage solutions at a cost of $9,500. They use this to secure evidence and weapons in transit. Fitness equipment at a cost of $8,600. Like what the fire department's doing, they're trying to encourage fitness and mental resiliency, and the same with the fitness stair climber for $7,700. And then we've got Motorola WatchGuard body-worn cameras at a cost of $6,500.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know how
and
many.
a number. Yes, I will get all of those. I apologize that those numbers aren't in here. I do have them. They just didn't make it in the slide.
Oh.
And I can probably get those for you as soon as we're done. SRT body-worn cameras with SD cards at a cost of $64.44.
What's the difference between the two?
I do not know.
Other
Do
than
you
an
know what the
SD
difference
card?
is between the two?
SRT
The
is
body-worn
a
cameras
different
with
type
SD
of-
cards, and then,
last one you talked about would be specifically for the SRT.
Right.
okay.
Type of body camera, different vest, everything.
Oh, okay.
SRT is special response, and so they have a different, essentially uniform that they wear, and so the equipment's going to be a little bit different from what the normal day-to-day patrol might wear.
A camera for criminal investigations at a cost of $6,000. They're going to use this to cut down on response times and allow immediate response for on-calls. Yes.
Can you explain that a little bit more? Like having the camera, cutting down on response time?
Probably having more than one, I would say.
Okay,
Yep. I will, I can get back to you on that one. I apologize.
that's okay.
I would say probably have more than one. Have one of this, one
Okay.
I would think. I'm not sure, but I would think.
Next, we've got the forensic evidence drying cabinet at a cost of $5,500. They did purchase one, I believe it was either FY '23 or '24, and this will be an addition and hold overflow if needed. Next, we've got a commercial refrigerator at a cost of $5,000. It's going to replace a 10-year-old unit. It fails to meet standards, and they're going to use it to store evidence. Next, we've got a portable smart board for Criminal Investigations Division at a cost of $5,000. They will use it to collect, decipher, and store information for investigations. Any more questions about police?
So, just to clarify, I'm sure the quantities might better explain some of it, but I'm
Yes.
surprised to see bikes costing more than some of the camera equipment. So I guess,
Yeah,
quantities will probably
Yep,
help.
I will get quantities for you. That will definitely help, for sure. Yes, sir?
The fact that there's a slash
after general fund, it says PSST, that means these are funded jointly by both funds?
So it'll be funded by either general fund or PSST.
Okay.
PSST pays for partial, part of the salaries and benefits for fire and police, and then whatever we've got left over, we budget towards capital. So it just depends on what's left over in PSST, and we'll transfer that to general fund.
Okay.
So I want to follow up on that too. Does that explain why the jail upgrades are coming out of general fund instead of PSST first?
The only items that will come out of the public safety sales tax are police and fire. Okay, next we've got the hotel motel fund. The first project on the list is demoing a building on Commercial Street at a cost of $100,000.
It's multiple buildings, by the way.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
It's multiple buildings. These are the buildings that we've purchased now already and potentially could purchase in the future in that area.
Then we've got 3 studies on the list. We've got a customer service request tracking system. Actually, that's not a study, it's a system. It'll be used to create a single point of contact for resident questions. Second item on the list is an Arts Commission and Tourism Board strategic planning and programming at a cost of $20,000. It will develop a strategic plan for public arts and help to assist with priorities for the Tourism Board. Third on the list is the ETC Citizen Survey at a cost of $15,000. It'll be used to promote transparency with council and residents.
I have a question about the ETC surveys. This was before, I think, either of your time, but when we ran one in the summer of '21, was it a comparable cost? Is it?
That's generally around the price of what a survey would cost. $10,000-$15,000 is about right.
Okay, and what are you imagining in terms of frequency for that? Because I hadn't experienced that in 20. It doesn't seem like we do it every year, but is that what you're?
I think it's important. Now, there's no hard fast rule here. I think it's important for us as a community to look at every few years and see where we're making progress, where we're not, where we need to make more progress. And so we like to use those surveys, at least every 3 to 4 years max, so that way we can use them as a benchmark to understand where we're making progress and where we're not. I mean, it's literally just to see where we're moving the needle with public sentiment and where we may have missed some things. That makes sense.
I appreciate the data and I think it's valuable. I just was wondering what kind of frequency is normal.
3 to 4 years is a normal frequency for that.
Thanks.
Yep. Although I say that, and some communities do them every year. I don't know that we need to do it that frequently.
We got some data with the comprehensive plan. So.
We did, and so and the comprehensive plan had some good data on it that we can utilize. The citizen survey, though, is going to be a little bit more comprehensive on all the services that the city might provide, and not just as they pertain to future land use planning and future district planning and stuff like that.
Okay, the city's got multiple capital projects funds. So I've kind of grouped them all together here, and my thought is to potentially put them in one fund going forward. I just haven't made that leap yet, and obviously I would talk to you guys about that first, but I've grouped these projects here under capital projects funds. And Greg did talk about a couple of these last night. We've got resolutions approved last night. The first one is street reconstruction, a cost of $12 million. We'll be selling bonds to fund that. It'll be used for paving and curves. Second project on the list is Mullen at a cost of $5.64. TDD funds will be used to fund this, and that's a resolution that you guys approved. Was it last night? I'm losing track of my days. Route 58 in Powell's the third, 4.182. State match of 1.0 and federal match of 1.75. I'll be adding the third lane to Route 58 in connection of 173rd Street. Hargis Gardens at a cost of $3.25. We'll be using bonds to fund that. And that will include construction of culverts on Mill, Sunrise, and Park, and connection of storm sewer to Route 58. Next is the reconstruction of North Scott at 2.54 with a federal match of $2 million. And we'll be reconstructing North Scott with that money. North Cass Parkway at a cost of $400,000. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, finish.
Okay. TDD funds will be used to fund that, and we've got a design contract with Wilson right now.
So, when I came back from National League of Cities, and I here mentioned about how the city of Atlanta is combining departments when they have projects to see if there's stuff we could take care of for the city. And I'm wondering is if we would look at if there's things around these structures that park needs to be involved with to enhance trails, to enhance some of the things that the citizens asked, couldn't we start putting that in some of these other projects where we're bringing in different money pots to help complete more projects?
So right now, most of these projects are single source projects, like the TDD's funding one, and we're getting money for the feds on another one, and there's not really a parks component to it. There could be parks components as we move forward and look at doing construction of other arterials where we want to do more enhancements, more trees, more things along the sides of them as we go. But when you look at like the Hargis Gardens job, we're just literally taking a culvert out and putting a culvert back. There isn't room or anything to do any enhancements to those jobs right now. But yes, there is a possibility in the future.
And some of the transportation projects that we do, when it comes to trails or how those are laid out, sometimes they include a bike lane, and it's built into the process and the project. Mark utilizes that as one of their scoring criteria, how we can use different forms of transportation in these projects and incorporate those. And so those are kind of built in, and that's not to say that there's nothing there from parks that could go to that, but as we get to doing more projects that are extending our footprint and adding infrastructure to new areas, to me that's where it's going to be the most important to incorporate parks to ensure that we're maximizing our dollars. Or if we had a complete redesign of an area that would include some public space, then absolutely parks needs to be involved in those. So your point isn't taken lightly, Councilman White, that there are going to be some places where it's very, very appropriate for us to incorporate parks and try to maximize grant monies that are available and teaming together to do that, because that can be very powerful. Some of these that are stormwater related or transportation related are going to be it'd be a stretch to try and get parks involved in some of those.
Well, I just want to let you know I'm going to continue to ask, because that's historically, me setting up here hasn't been part of the normal conversation.
Understood.
So I want to continue to ask, so that way we might start moving in that. Is, hey, we got to do this project. Can we enhance the citizens with parks involvement in this? So I'm just going to continuously ask.
We appreciate any attempts and any movements to make our processes more transparent and understandable for the public, so that there's definitely no. We're glad to answer those questions. Let's put it that way.
Go ahead.
Okay. Next, we'll move on to street, wastewater, and water. First up is street. We've got a street and stormwater preservation program at a cost of $600,000. That'll come out of the street fund, and provide a program for restoration and for street and stormwater. Culvert at Larkspur at a cost of $400,000, also out of the street fund, and it'll provide a connection from Larkspur to Powell Peculiar Drive. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I saw a hand back here. An asphalt paver at a cost of $200,000. It's going to replace the current paver that we have. Rebuild sidewalk across Railroad along Cedar. There's a $150,000 MoDOT grant that we'll be going after, or we have received. I'm not sure. Greg can answer that, but go ahead.
So we have an agreement, or we're in the process of getting the agreement written, where MoDOT will pay the $150,000, reimburse us back. But, and that's right over here where you see the sidewalk that looks like this. So.
Why is the railroad not paying that?
The railroad itself, it's on MoDOT's right of way. So MoDOT is actually, has a grant to the railroad to do it.
So we've kind of cut out the middleman, and we're just going to accept the grant directly to us instead of it going to the railroad and then to us.
We've been struggling with communication with the railroad and getting response on a lot of issues, including this one.
I know.
And so
This-
I think that our taking the tact of just going straight to MoDOT rather than going through the railroad to get to MoDOT is probably going to the quickest way to a solution there.
So just so you know, you think, well, $150,000 is a lot of money, right? We're actually having to replace the pipes underneath Cedar and the pipes that go further over. So those deep ditches and those holes along the side of the road and alongside the sidewalk, we're going to get rid of. We're also going to replace the sidewalk all the way from Commercial all the way up to the back of the garage as you hit the main street. Everything that's in the railroad right away, we're going to replace with a 5-foot sidewalk. So it all look like brand new in much better condition than it is now.
Thank you, Greg. Moving on. We've got a dump bed truck replacement at a cost of $115,000. And again, I said at the beginning that we don't know what all of our rollovers are. We do know 2 of them in street. So we've got a dump bed truck replacement. It was ordered in '24, one arrived to '25, so we're going to roll that over to '25 at a cost of $107,000. Public Works Facility, we're splitting this between water, wastewater, and street at a cost of $33,000 for each fund. That'll finish up painting and building of the roof work at the facility out there. And then we've got a ground penetrating radar that will also be split between water, wastewater, and street at a cost of $8,500 per fund. Next, we'll move on to wastewater. First on the list is a Park Street sewer capacity at a cost of 1.4. That is a rollover of an existing project. We weren't able to get that done in '24. I&I program, $1 million. Obviously, I&I is used to lower the inflow and infiltration so that we can provide extra connections to our collection system. We've got the wastewater treatment plant valve vault at a cost of $200,000. We need this to reach valves safely underground. Next on the list is efforts. Did I say that right, Greg?
Yes.
Pump station, wet well rehabilitation at a cost of $150,000. The wet well needs to be rehabilitated due to the age.
If everybody don't know, that's on Effort's property out on Holmes, so.
The next rollover we have in wastewater is a pickup truck at a cost of $89,631. The one below it is another pickup truck at a cost of $67,469. Both of those were ordered in '25, but we aren't going to receive them till, or '24, aren't going to receive them till '25, so we are going to roll those over. Continuing with wastewater. Yes, sir.
Can you refresh my memory of what we're doing with the Public Works facility for $33,000 and 3 pots, so $99,000?
It's like she said, we're, the old buildings haven't been painted and several have leaking roofs. And so we got to,
Not your new building.
in our new lot, there were old buildings that we got from the Navy. And so,
Not the new building we approved last night.
no. These are the existing buildings that are out there. They have the same paint that they had since 1970. And so we're just trying to make them look like something.
And usable,
Yeah, they're all usable.
without leaks.
We're trying to keep them in good shape.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a new twist on an old theme, right?
Okay, moving on. A generator for the Efforts lift station at a cost of $30,000. It's going to replace the old generator. Generator for Fairway Ridge lift station at the cost of $30,000, again replacing the old one. RAS pump replacement at the plant at a cost of $25,000. Again, it's going to replace the current pump. 72-inch mower at a cost of $15,000. It's going to replace the old mower. And then I talked about this just a little bit ago. The ground penetrating radar is going to be split between street, water, and wastewater at a cost of $8,500 per fund.
What are those initials after ground penetrating radar? TWT, WW?
It's
Those are
Those are the
three
abbreviations
funds.
for T is like street and WT is water and WW is wastewater.
Oh,
It's
okay.
abbreviations.
station.
So they're just not on the line above, okay.
Any more questions about wastewater? Okay, we'll move on to water. We've got a water line replacement at a cost of $10 million, and we'll be seeking an SRF loan for that. Trailer-mounted hydrovac system at a cost of $100,000. It'll be in addition to the water department to use for hydro excavating. This is one of the rollovers that water has, a pickup truck at a cost of $89,631. Again, we ordered it in '24, won't be here to '25. Next item on the list is a truck with a utility bed at a cost of $80,000. Greg, you want to explain that, the
It's
purpose
just
of this?
an additional utility bed truck for our crews to use because we're just stretched for trucks that have utility beds. And so you're able to take tools out with you and not have tools like in the back of a pickup truck. It actually is a utility bed.
Thank you. Next on the list is another rollover from '24, a truck at a cost of $67,469. Continuing with water, a valve exerciser with vac system at a cost of $40,000. This is going to allow the crews to clean out the valve stems. Public Works facility, again, this is split between street, water, and wastewater. Next on the list is a Polaris with a trailer at a cost of $20,000. They need this to replace the old one. Line locate equipment at a cost of $10,000. It is needed to locate any underground breaks or leaks. And again, the ground penetrating radar is split between the three funds. We're going to move on to golf, if no one has any questions about water. Okay. The first on the list is asphalt paving. This was actually budgeted in '24. We didn't get it done, so we're moving it to '25, and the cost of that is $100,000. Next on the list is cart barn improvements at a cost of $7,500. What Jay's going to do here, he was trying to explain it to me this afternoon. It's basically a power washer that you see in like a car wash. They are washing a lot more carts now than they ever used to, so they need to upgrade that and then also do some improvements to the cart barn. So that's what the $7,500 is for. Next on the list is signage at a cost of $7,000. This is part of the city's plan to rebrand and update signage wayfinding around the city. Any questions about golf? Next, we'll move on to parks, and I do have a parks representative here to answer any questions if you have any. First on the list is Cleveland Lake restrooms and parking lot at a cost of $350,000, and these are all requests as well. They haven't been approved, right? Okay. They need to update the restrooms and parking due to an uptick in visitors. Next on the list is a play system and surfacing in the West Belton Park. $250,000. The playground is old and needs repairs. Markey Park sunshades at a cost of $162,700. This is the second phase of a 2-year project. Once phase is completed, the project will be done. And is this the second year or third year? Second, okay. Next on the list is an HVAC unit at a cost of $120,000. It is in need of replacement, just like the other buildings. Next on the list, bottom half east parking lot at a cost of $70,000, wear and tear on the parking lot. A marquee sign at a cost of $65,000. I think Brian sent in a picture of maybe a hospital one. That didn't make the slide, but it's a really nice marquee sign.
Yeah, it's a really nice LED sign.
That one goes down by Mullen there at the entrance?
Yeah.
Okay, next on the list, we've got 5 mowers, a cost of $64,000. The lease option they have is no longer available, and they need additional mowers to compensate for the added land. Next on the list, slide renovations at a cost of $63,000. It needs repairs. Next on the list, Tracknology, okay. Turf Tech GPS At a cost of $59,845. I will not pretend to know what this is, so I'll let you talk about that one.
So this is basically a UTV with a paint sprayer on it that is all GPS. So what would take us, like a soccer field, usually would take us, a couple guys, a couple hours to mark out. You can do it in about 5 to 10 minutes and painted as well as marked out. Everything's pre-programmed in. It can do parking lots as well. They cannot do angled lines yet, but they can do straight parking lot lines. It will be used for when we paint the out-of-bounds lines for any of our disc golf tournaments, possibly used for cross-country. So once you do that, they're in there, and you don't ever have to, you just let go of the steering wheel, and it drives, turns the paint on when it needs to, turns it off. You don't touch nothing but the gas pedal.
So we could use it at the police station for striping?
If it has straight lines, yes.
Okay.
Aha.
There, see, we're working together.
That's exactly right.
Thank you. Next on the list, the flooring at Kids Corner, a cost of $35,000. They want to provide a safer and cleaner environment for the kids. Cleveland Country View Connection Trail at a cost of $28,000. This is the cost to build the trail and fence to connect Cleveland and Country View. Sound system at a cost of $16,200. They want to make a better experience. Yes, sir.
Where's this for?
The sound system?
Memorial Station.
Perfect.
Done.
What'd you say? Yeah, perfect.
He might even give you money out of general fund. I'm just kidding. Next on the list, safety pads for the net climber at a cost of $13,000. The current pads are cracking and starting to fail and becoming a safety issue. Restroom countertops at a cost of $8,000. They're in need of replacement. Repair is not an option. That is.
That is at the station as well.
Yep. Next on the list is a crossing net at a cost of $7,000. The net is currently breaking down, and I think I read that maybe some people are cutting their fingers or hands on
Yeah,
the net.
it's like a cargo net that goes across part of the pool, and some of the metal was starting to come through and poking people. So,
ADA removable stairs in the indoor pool, cost of $6,000. Apparently, multiple requests have been made for stairs in the lap pool. Picnic tables at a cost of $6,000. Replace the aging picnic tables throughout the park. And then the wayfinding signage, that's part of the city's plan. The park's cost of that is $6,000.
Sorry, guess I should have said this. The first thing that you mentioned, the restrooms, the updated ones, is it at Cleveland Lake? Is that going to be more restrooms, or is it just updating the current ones?
currently, all we have is a porta potty. in
Oh,
Cleveland.
okay. And then it also says parking as well. Is that going to increase the parking there?
Yes.
Awesome.
On the striping machine, you say it can paint stripes on streets or parking lots?
Yes.
Because I know we were having an issue with finding people to do that. I believe this last summer, wasn't it? Striping, or is that road striping?
That's road striping. We can actually put some stripes down in a parking lot.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
So if we needed some up on Main Street or something, we could put some? Possibly.
Possibly where they go, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're angled there.
Yeah, they're angled. Go ahead.
Kevin, the slide renovations, that's at the outdoor water park, right?
That's at the indoor.
The indoor, and that's not a rollover.
No.
We did the stairs last year.
Yeah, we did
Okay.
we had all the metal stairs blasted and recoated.
All right, thank you.
Either one go.
Where's Country View?
West Belton.
West Belton.
West Belton, okay.
Can you refresh my memory where the junior disc golf is at?
West Belton.
It's out at Country View.
And so, we're gonna be fixing up that area to where it's much more attractive and,
Yeah, we installed the disc golf course and also installed a new basketball court. So
Playground is scheduled for next year, hopefully, and then a new shelter after that, probably next.
If you haven't been out, I invite you to go check it out. It looks a lot better. They've done a lot of work already at West Belton, at Country View, and this trail is going to be kind of a cool connection between that and, Cleveland Lake, which gives people more recreational opportunities.
Go ahead.
And if I was actually going to mention that, if I remember correctly, it was on the comprehensive plan that people were asking for a connection between those two.
Yep.
So,
Well, that is the end of the presentation.
I
If
got
anybody has,
several questions. I noticed, you may have already thought about this, but I've noticed several different funds and stuff that there's asphalt and several, there's mowers and several, and havoc units all over the place that we tried to get together and do a package deal to see if we can get those cheaper.
Normally, all the asphalt and paving and sealing, I put together in our contract, so it's all done at the same time. The mowers are usually different types of mowers, but we go and we quote from everybody in the world to try to get the best price in all the equipment. So luckily enough, we have a mower place here in town that we've been having pretty good luck with, so.
Good. That's all. Just, instead of buying one here and one here and one here and one here and one here. That's all I had.
You forgot the most important question. Are the new radios going to still have the orange button? You wanted to know that.
I didn't want to know that. I know they're going to have the new orange button. I've been around the block. I know what they're going to have.
I think we're going to purposely try to get away from the orange button.
Get away from the orange button, okay.
You can't. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Just since you clarified up front, these are requests only.
Yes.
Should we expect to see all of these accounted for in the forthcoming budget?
Yeah, what we're going to do is, we wanted to give you an idea of what the kind of the base need is as identified by staff in each of these areas. Obviously, we're not going to be able to fund every one of these requests. That's pie in the sky at this point. But yes, we are going to go through this as a staff, give some recommendations. We're going to give you guys some more information on available funding in each fund. So that way, we're going to group it to where here are the requests in this fund. Here's the available funding we have in this fund. We're also going to be, turning around the results from your guys's, visioning and or prioritization exercise, so you can utilize that to see, okay, as a council, what were our priorities, and we can weigh that to what's money's available and what are the projects that we're still asking for. We're going to pare some of that down, and we're going to try to give you definitely going to give you some recommendations on what the staff thinks are the most important, and then you guys will have, obviously, the final say as we go through that.
but if I can add to that real quick, but if there, and I can send the PowerPoint to everyone if you want it, please let me know. That's why I put this together. So if there's something on the list that you think is just, you're adamant about having, let me know. And I can relay that to the department heads. We can relay that to the department heads. But like Joe said, I mean, we want to bring everything back to you with our recommendations as long as they fit in the budget, so.
Well, on your fourth page, it says total general fund, $1.98 million. And on the existing budget, total capital that we're under right now, total capital outlay was over $3 million. So
Yep.
Is that implying that there's for instance, in the general capital fund, there's a savings this year? If we got everything in here for general, it's still a savings of 1.1 million?
So, this does not include rollovers. So anything that we were not able to purchase in '24, we're gonna have to purchase in '25. And we don't know, I mean, I just had a conversation with Chief Sapp right before the meeting started. There are pieces of equipment that he still does not know if he's going to have this year or next year, so.
But if we didn't spend it when I say last year, we didn't spend it in the
This
current
year,
year.
right.
Then that would the money for it would roll over too.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
but we still have to rebudget that expense.
Okay, so similarly, if we go down through here and go to the existing budget, the current budget, and link it to, for instance, the total hotel motel fund and look at it, we could see how things are going up or down
Correct.
compared to the current. Okay.
Yep.
Great.
And sometimes the revenues are going to, I mean, the revenues aren't going to be static from year to
Oh,
year,
sure.
right? So the available money we have for these projects could change depending on a lot of circumstances, so.
Because you also have to look at if some of those capital purchases were made with grant funding.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of factors that
Gotta
go
go
into
away,
play.
I see. Yeah,
And other factors that could come into play are overhead allocations and what are, you know, being charged to other departments and how that money's flowing through the general fund to the capital fund, if at all. Those are all things that could affect
Yeah,
the
but right-
availability of money.
right now on the surface, it looks like, the staff, I hope that doesn't sound derogatory, is requesting about 1.1 million less, at least in the general fund capital.
In general fund, yes.
And part of that, I think you're seeing that, you know, the requests are down a little bit this year. But part of that is us being realistic about the ability to turn things around sometimes, supply chain issues, availability of monies, that kind of thing. So the more that we do it, the more in tune we get with what's going to be available and what's realistic, right?
Okay.
So, timeline-wise, when will this stuff be huh? That's why we need new mics, lapel ones. So timeline-wise, when will we be seeing and then getting through the actual budget? Because it has to be approved by end of March, right?
Correct. We have a budget workshop scheduled for operations in January. And so before then, we'll try to get most of this capital stuff ironed out as well as we can. They're married, right? Because the operational budget, you know, include, you know, how much money we use for operations can impact how much money we have available for capital. And so, yeah, I mean, we'll have this pared down pretty well in January, and then in February we'll start to really decide what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. I mean, that's when I give the city manager's proposed budget based on the feedback you give after tonight and the feedback you give after the operations workshop.
The only thing that might not be ironed out is the carry forward capital purchases. So it was last minute last year, and I don't expect it to be too much different this year, so.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
If you're going to share the presentation with us, that would be great. And can you include numbers on some of these
Yes,
items?
I can, yep.
Anybody else? Anything else?
Mayor, I'd say I think that I trust all the directors and what their wish list is. I think the biggest issue is just going to be, will the revenue be there to match it? But
Yep.
if it is, they were great.
Absolutely. And just to be transparent about the thought process, and we're going to definitely lean on you for this, but we are going to be more conservative this year than we were this past budget year for FY25 to anticipate any potential downturns in the economy, which could potentially likely happen. I don't want to get into that kind of prognosticating, but we want to make sure that we are covering ourselves in that in case it does.
I also want to say, Mayor, that this is so much easier to operate and work with, Casey and Joe, from the old 3-ring binders that were 3 inches thick that we used to try to figure out.
Oh, well, this is just the capital.
Oh.
Still have a 3-ring.
All right.
You're getting a 10-ring binder.
Is that a threat?
No, we're working on something that's definitely more aesthetically pleasing and easier to read. So,
Broken down simple. That's me. I like that.
yeah.
Anybody else? You got anything else?
That's-
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have scheduled a Ward 4 meeting for Monday, January 9th, is that right? Or the 8th at 6 o'clock at Memorial Station. So, please, all Ward 4, and if you don't, you can still come if you're not in Ward 4. Please come. And
To clarify, this is use tax related, I'm assuming?
as one part of it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Anything else?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Council members Powell,
Yes?
Richardson,
Yes.
Goff,
Aye.
Ryan,
Aye.
Kraft,
Aye.
McCallum,
Aye.
White,
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor Larkey.
Aye.